time to fight with the ball joint. Hello my Rover friends and welcome back to the Lucky8 channel. Today I'm going to show you how to install our Polybush control arm kit. We're going to put the Polybushes in, we're going to put the control arms on the car. It's a pretty straightforward job unless the bolts are rusted, but we will get to that part when the car is in the air. Cue the intro. The control arm job is pretty straightforward. Ball joint, 24 millimeter, shock bolt, 24 and a 22. Then we've got 24 and 24, 24 and 24 for the arms that mount to the little outriggers on the frame. I'll bring the camera in, show you those bolts, and then we're gonna get them free. There is the ball joint one, 24. Desperately need that. Shock mount. And then over here on the inside is the 24 and spinning around. Well, we're all gonna get dizzy. 24 and then opposite sides are the 24s. Little trick for you here coming up. Here's a little trick for you. If your car is just getting the control arms and you're not going to have it realigned, you can take your paint pen and mark where the bolt is. So when you put it all back together, it'll have the same alignment. You got to do it on this bolt and then the other one in the back. Lucky for me, all the hardware came apart, but a lot of times they rust right here inside the bushing. Let's go over to the other side. I'll show you what to do if your hardware doesn't play nice. Unfortunately, even on this clean LR4, the bolt has rusted to the inner sleeve. So this is where we use the Sawzall right on the inside. If you chop this part off, the bolt will still be stuck. So you want to go right in between the frame little outrigger that holds the control arm. You don't want to cut that, that's critical. On both sides, cutting the bolt on the inside free. Take your time, get them both cut, and then the control arm will be free. With all the hardware out of the control arm, it's time to fight with the ball joint. I leave the nut on pretty much flush with the bottom, give it a couple of good. Generally that it doesn't do anything, but what I do find that works is if you hit the control arm itself, it vibrates and then allows the ball joint to pop. Let's see if we get lucky. Boom. Okay, now we can pull this out. Oh, forgot one thing. You can take the CV out and bring everything forward, but I don't want to do that. If you drop this skid plate out of the way, it'll allow the control arm to drop down. So I'm going to get this off. It's like 4 to 6 13 mils. We'll drop it down, maybe 14 mil, and then I'll show you how to wiggle the control arm out. All right, let's try and wiggle this out. As you're going up, you kind of gotta move the ball joint a little bit so that it'll come free. Watch out for the shock. And you can just barely sneak it past the CV boot. If for some reason your control arm's different, then you're gonna have to pull the CV. Now it's time to install the Polybush. Take the little sleeves out. They are different, so if you mix them up, you really can't. One will be too long, one will be too short. And I look at the control arm that it's replacing. Shock goes here, ball joint's there, okay. And I can see that the rubber bush side goes on that way. And then just simply Take your time, tap it in place. Then you can send in the bushing. I'm not gonna bore you with this. I'll tap these in and then I'll show you how to sneak it and get it on the arm. Here's the little trick that I use to get the lower control arm in without the CV. All right, you want the control or the hub away from the shock so you're not fighting the shock. Then you wanna kind of be up as high as you can with it and just start to wiggle the arm in. And you see how I'm adjusting the arm to change the angle. I was moving up and down on it to allow the pin to drop in the hole. With that in place, simply bolt everything back up. All right, let's just do a quick recount. Ball joint, torqued tight, shock, torqued tight, front control arm, torqued and tight, and rear control arm, torqued and tight. There you go. Not an incredibly tough job. Well, if you got to cut every one of those bolts, it gets daunting, but really at the end of the day, it's 4 bolts each side. They're just big. Take your time and be sure to follow for more Rover content.